think we're live. Put some tunes. Okay, everybody, it's Sunday. Tradition. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the kitchen. You're actually where the camera normally is for the cooking shows. And here we are. It's Sunday. It's the day we've all been waiting for no apparent reason. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for joining. It means a whole lot to me to have everyone here participating. And if you guys are watching this later online, I hope you're enjoying the content. We filmed a ton of episodes the past few days, and I am so excited about it because some of them have turned out really fun in ways that I wasn't expecting. You know, I wanted to start this channel for a very long time, and it took a pandemic for me to finally force myself to get everything put in order. And I envisioned just shooting in the kitchen or just shooting at home as being really limiting. And in fact, it's been a wonderful challenge within the constraints that you're given. And I was talking, we were just talking about art, and sometimes you need to limit yourself in order to create art. And I've always viewed food as a type of art, even though it serves a utility, there is this artistic expression within it. And that's one of my biggest messages when it comes to cooking, is that you are creating something of your own. You are creating, you're adding to it. It's not just a formulaic expression. So that's like a little bit of a rant. That's like a little bit of something that I was thinking about. But I think that, it's a really beautiful thing to kind of be in a time where we're forced to do certain things that maybe are uncomfortable or new to us. And I hope that in that self journey, you guys are able to discover something about yourself or push something within yourself that you didn't know was possible. And if that happens to be cooking, then you're in a great place, because that is an area where I like to try and push myself. So I hope to see what you're making and to hear what you guys are excited to cook. So let's. I've been trying to keep like the recipe or the dish that we're preparing on Sunday kind of a surprise, I guess, for really no reason other than I like surprises, and I hope you do too. So today we're actually going to be making, as the title suggests, a roasted tomato chicken soup. The plan was to make a chicken soup, but we got some tomatoes from the grocery store. We got way too many tomatoes from the grocery store, so we're going to roast those up and incorporate them into the chicken soup. And earlier today, we actually just finished filming. We made a chicken stock, a chicken bone broth, chicken broth. They're all three the same thing. But we made one from scratch starting early this morning, and we just cooked the bones all throughout the day. And so we have this very nutrient-rich stock that needs to be cooked. So we're going to do that. We're going to make a chicken soup with it, and we're going to have some fun along the way. I have some questions for you guys. I have maybe get a surprise Henry appearance. It's going to be harder than last week because he is. I'm going to have to lift him up. But maybe we'll see Henry in the episode. Carissa is helping me out. She's been such a wonderful asset and wonderful partner that I'm just so thrilled that she's going to be here. So she's kind of on the chat, and she's available if you guys want to ask me any questions. I can kind of read. It looks like, hi. I can see hi, Paul. I can't see exactly who it is, but
Sandy.
Oh, Sandy. Hey, Sandy, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining again. Let me know what you guys are cooking. Maybe if Ronnie's cooking something, let me know. But yeah, we're gonna get right to it. One thing that we're gonna do this week, there's a couple of changes. One is we're on YouTube, and the videos are on YouTube. I kind of want to push a lot of the content towards YouTube. So we're going to keep trying to do these live streams on YouTube. I also love the function about YouTube that if you are coming in late to the party and you're like, wait, I heard that Paul was saying something philosophical, you can rewind on YouTube and watch content, kind of go at your own pace. Or if I'm being really boring and rambling, which I can tend to do, you can fast forward through that as well. So YouTube's a great platform. I love that. It's also just going to live on the channel with all the other videos. So every Sunday we're going to do this, and boom, 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 big announcement. There's like lots of announcements this week, but every Sunday there's going to be a live show as long as we can do it. And videos are going to come out Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays and Fridays, there are going to be new episodes. We have 4 episodes that have all been shot and waiting to be edited. So really excited to be pushing out content on a consistent basis for you guys, and live shows every week where I would love to hear if you guys have made any of the recipes from the episodes. And I would especially love to hear if you have modified any of those recipes to fit your own taste. Would love to see how people are modifying it. I've already gotten a couple of people that have submitted me photos or text messages just saying how they were altering stuff, and I really appreciate that feedback. So either in this forum or just let me know. One of the main reasons why I'm doing this is to help inspire other people to cook at home, and if that's you, I would love to hear from you. So that's a big announcement. The second big announcement that I'm really excited about is next week, next Sunday, we are going to be joined live, socially distanced, from a remote location somewhere in Austin with Chef Katie from Kilawasi. We're going to do Egg Day. This may be an earlier stream because we're going to be cooking nothing but eggs, but we were talking last month, earlier in March, and we were talking about we came up with the 10 best ways to make eggs. And I think throughout this week, we're going to whittle it down to 5. And we're going to not only tell you, but we are going to show you the 5 best ways to cook eggs. Now, I'm an amateur chef. I love food. I love to cook. Thus the title. Katie is a professional chef, classically trained, and she's going to bring some knowledge bombs to the live stream, whereas I just kind of am like, I don't know what I'm doing, do it yourself. So I'm really excited to have Katie on next week. I'm really excited to try this 2-person live stream. I think it's really going to add an element to it. It's something I've always wanted to do with the show, and now with these live streams is to bring in other people, other experts. And Katie is not only one of the best people I know in terms of her knowledge of food, but just that human being. She's a wonderful human being, and I'm excited for you guys all to meet her and to engage in this live show. So I want to take a moment, and this is Sunday. It's still the weekend. We need to celebrate the weekend, and so if you're watching and you want to follow along, I would. I'm going to make a little drink for myself. And it doesn't have to be an alcoholic drink. It could be a non-alcoholic drink. But that's something I didn't do last week, and I wanted to do this week. I mean, it's the weekend, 9/9. So I'm gonna make a really simple drink for myself. I like to keep my limes with my jalapenos, so I'm going to make a lot of restaurants will call this fire water. No, not fire water, ranch water. They call it ranch water because apparently when you're on a ranch, this is the only thing that you drink. So I'm going to have some Topo Chico, and I'm going to have some lime. But that's not where the fun stops. The fun continues, friends, and I'm going to add a little mezcal to it. So this well-used Austin Beer Works pint. Shout out to Austin Beer Works. Well, I have it over here already. Carissa is, she's seeing that I wasn't ready, but I made sure to grab this bottle before we started. So I'm just going to, this is a super easy drink. If you have tequila, if you have bourbon, if you have whiskey, if you have mezcal. Just take a glass, put some ice cubes in it. I'm gonna just pour myself a little bit of mezcal. We'll put this away. And again, if you're following along at home and you just want to have a normal Topo Chico that doesn't have something, go for that. Topo Chico. Hey, if you don't have Topo Chico, maybe you're watching this in another country and you need use some San Pellegrino. Use some sparkling water. Although I do attest, Topo Chico is probably the best sparkling water on the planet. Like, willing to have my mind changed. And then put some lime in it. Boom, we're done. That was easy. I've actually never made this for myself, but Carissa was looking at restaurants to go orders, and restaurants had it on the menu. I mean, it's great how in a pandemic, the TABC just really lightens the requirements for selling and distributing alcohol. So everyone who's watching at home, like, cheers. Cheers to you guys for watching. Cheers to you for supporting this channel, supporting me. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Okay, great. It's delicious. Love mezcal to begin with. And mezcal and sparkling water and wine. It's perfect. Okay. So now what do we all have in front of me besides a bottle opener? I have this stock that I made. I have some green beans. I have some celery that's been sliced up, and I have some carrots. So that's what's hiding underneath this. I have some red onion, and then over here some more aromatics. I have some ginger, some garlic, and I have some jalapeno actually. And this has all been like finely diced, not really a mince, but somewhere in between. And then I also have some leaves from the celery and some parsley. We're going to use all of this to make our chicken soup, but I also have a heck of a whole bunch of tomatoes that need to be cooked. And if you have vegetables that are going bad, or if you have vegetables that are kind of on the tail end of their life, I would highly recommend making a soup with it. It's going to extend the life of your vegetables. They're going to taste amazing. Sometimes if you have an old veggie, you have an old something in a salad or on a sandwich or somewhere else, you can kind of taste it. In a soup, all of that is forgotten. It's great for it's ageless soups. So, thanks for watching me drink my drink. I hope someone out there is joining me. So here we go. First things first, we need to roast the tomatoes. So we could just do pureed tomato paste, tomatoes. We could take the tomatoes and just kind of like add it in chunks. But I want to fire roast them in the broiler in the oven, on the broiler function. I want to do that. And then I want to get some char on the skins. And the reason is that char is going to go so well with this soup because we don't really have anything that was roasted. One great way to make a chicken stock or a bone broth is to roast the bones and roast the vegetables ahead of time in a hot oven so that you kind of get that inherent roastiness in your broth. We didn't do it this time. It's just one less step, a little bit easier. But if we can fire roast those tomatoes, we can kind of inject that roastiness, if that's a word, into our broth. So that's the first step for us. So I'm going to have my cutting board out here. I'm just going to kind of make a little room for myself. How are you doing, Krista? Oh, I was supposed to make you a drink too. Do you want one?
Sure.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, while you do that, we have some lovely new joiners.
Great.
Carol is watching.
Oh, hey, Aunt Carol.
Hey, Aunt Carol.
Aunt Carol is the real MVP.
Yeah, I think we have an episode coming up for her that she might like.
Yeah, I think we do too. Which one is that?
The bread one.
Oh, the bread one. That's right. Yes. I'm so excited about the bread one. You guys, the bread one is like, the bread one is next level. And I mean, like, I kind of surprised myself a little bit by just like how amazing bread is. Bread is like such a gift. And I mean, don't mean to, you guys are all trusted. This is the loaf. This is one of the loaves that we made. The other loaf has actually been consumed and given away. But bread should be given away. So, and Carol, that bread episode's coming out for you real soon. I hope you're going to enjoy it.
We also have Miss Denny Mac.
Oh, Mom.
Denny Mac in the house.
Denny Mac attack. I think you know, Denny Mac would approve of this beverage.
Yeah, it's
It's very clean.
very clean.
It's not clean, but it's very clean. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks, guys. Thank you all. And even if you just come in for a minute, it means a lot that you guys are here and sharing this. So thank you so much for being a part of our little Sunday cooking community. And if you guys are making something right now and you just have me off in a corner talking to you, I would love to hear what you're making. And if you have suggestions about something you would love to see in this format, where it can be more participatory, I would love to hear what you guys have to say as well. So pardon me while she's gonna come over here. Maybe you can get like a Carissa arm in frame. Oh, just the hand. Okay.
We also have Ms. Leah Shirley.
Miss Leah Shirley, you should rewind. We talked a little bit about our earlier conversation about making art in confinement. And yeah, we were also talking about rewinding in YouTube live videos. So I hope you get to do that.
Shout out to Leah.
Shout out to Leah.
We also have Miss Dora.
Oh, Dora.
I think she's going to be really excited about these roasted tomatoes.
Oh, are you speaking from experience?
Yes.
Okay. Dora, thank you so much for joining, and thank you for sharing the stream, sharing the channel. I really appreciate all of your support too. Okay, so tomatoes. Thank you guys so much. I'm excited that you guys are all here and that you're participating. If you have any questions, it's kind of hard for me to read the chat because, unfortunately or fortunately, I'm tall, and for me to be in frame, you have to be farther away. So I still have a hard time reading
But
it.
I'm reading now.
But Carissa's reading it. So if you guys have questions, keep it coming. I'm going to go ahead and.
Leah's rewinding.
Nice, good job, Leah. Yeah. And if you're a latecomer and you want to watch from the beginning, like, feel free to. I'm just going to take all of these wonderful little stickers off these tomatoes. And you can see some of these tomatoes are definitely like starting to turn, so we're going to be sure to cut around that. I don't know if you can see because you are kind of far away, but just take my word for it. There we go. I'm actually going to put this over here. And you can still see it. Magical. Okay, so I'm going to wash these guys first. Always wash your vegetables. Now more than ever. And yeah, and you guys leave a comment too if you have made anything. I know I said that earlier, but I would love to hear. I mean, so far we have the Henry's granola, which is such a fan favorite. Henry's granola, we have the fermented jalapenos, and we have the roasted vegetables. 3 very easy recipes, and I'm really excited about the stuff that's going to come out pretty soon too. So I'm going to take these tomatoes and just kind of cut them in half. And go ahead and take out the middle bit there. I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but you know, it's something. One day we'll have several camera live streamed in the studio so that you guys can get all of this wonderful content. You know, speaking of like going to grocery stores, and just cut away all the bad parts, but speaking about going to grocery stores and having to adapt, I feel like we are being called to adapt very quickly now, maybe more than ever. Especially in my lifetime. There's really been nothing like this in my lifetime. So my question to you guys is, what's been a surprising substitution that you've had to make because the grocery store or whatever was out of the ingredient that you're looking for? I feel like there's been some substitution heroes in our midst, you know, having to deal with Well, I can't find X, Y, or Z. We couldn't find ginger for the longest time. And I'm making a fire cider right now, which is fantastic. Basically, it's this. It's just all of these roots mixed in. That's just like steeping in apple cider vinegar, and you let that steep for a month, and you come up with this like really powerful immune boosting tonic that is great for right now, just because our immunity could all use a shot. So I'm making that, and I really need horseradish roots and ginger and turmeric. Those are three of the big ones, and I really need it for the to make the how-to. That's going to be like the movie magic finished one, and couldn't find ginger for the longest time, and then we just got it on an HEB order, and we got a ton of ginger. And then we still can't find turmeric, although it's supposedly coming this week. We'll find out. Horseradish roots 2. It's also supposed to be coming. But that's been tough to find as well. So that's one example. I'm sure people have others, but I'd love to hear what you guys are having to deal with out there. Okay, so let's get some olive oil. Olive oil on our little olive oil on the old panzos here. Panzos is pan. This is now the panzos pan. Okay, I'm gonna move it around with my hands. All right, and then tomatoes skin side up. And then that's it. We're just going to roast them until they start to smoke up the house. Maybe not that far. Our last house, we had an old range. We had an old gas range. And the broiler was not in the top. It was on the bottom. And it was very confusing. It took me like a month to figure that out. I guess that's like a function of an old range. Broil high. Start. So broilers, you got to be kind of careful because you're basically putting food right next to the fire, and we have some oil on there, so we can start to get into a flaming mess a little bit. So just kind of keep your eye out, keep your eye on it. Keep the door open if you want to. Just don't set your house on fire. I'm gonna wash my hands. You're supposed to be washing your hands like every 20 seconds? No, you wash your hands for 20 seconds. Maybe we should wash our hands every 20 seconds and never be done washing your hands. Okay. I was wearing this shirt all day, and I was making stock with this shirt, and I've gotten stuff on it, so it's more Joyce. Joyce cooking. Great cookbook, by the way. Oh, you know what? Actually, speaking of great cookbooks, and while we're waiting for the broiler to kind of kick up, I have a quote that I wanted to read you guys from Stop and Smell the Rosemary. Classic cookbook. Shout out to Denny Mac for this one. And this is a great cookbook, by the way, if you don't have it. Everything in here is a winner. And I want to read you, because I was looking up ideas for today's soup. And I found this quote, and it's just in the margins here. I don't know if you can see that. And it's entitled Soup. Here we go. Remember coming home from school on a cold winter's day to discover the heady aroma of soup simmering on the stove as you were embraced by its warmth and comforting smells, enticed by its promise of goodness. Suddenly all seemed right with your warmth. For most of us, no matter what age, that still holds true. Hot or cold soup is perfect. Is the perfect food to spark the appetite, balance the menu, and soothe the soul. I love that. As you are embraced by its warmth and comforting smells. We were making that stock all day today, and I would have to run outside to go do something. And the moment you come back inside, it's like, whoa! It's such like a visceral experience to be kind of bathed in the smell of soup. So you're a champion in your house if you make broth or soup for that matter, or anything. Okay, this part of the cooking series might be a little off because you are so far away. But I'm going to move this up maybe here first. And get our tomatoes kind of kissed by this flame. Oh, look at that. Well, it's a new pan. We're gonna adapt. Sometimes, okay, we're all being asked to adapt, so we're going to adapt.
Michael Shirley just joined.
Oh, hey, MGS.
Using those new pans.
We are using those new pans. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for those new pans. That is a big help. And I hope to you and yours, happy Champagne Sunday. Champagne Sunday is a huge tradition over there. Sometimes it's Champagne Thursday. Okay, so we're gonna take a pan, this is where we're gonna make our soup in. So let's just get started. We're already, like 30 minutes in? So, right? So
We are 31 minutes in.
31 minutes in. Wow, time flies.
I think some community members here are also cooking at the same time.
Oh, really?
Or maybe have already cooked today. Denny Mac has made shrimp risotto with asparagus and black-eyed peas.
Wow, that is a killer combination.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I love shrimp and asparagus together. We did that last week on the plancha.
Yes, great call. Sounds luxurious.
It does, yeah. Velvety risotto. For those of you who are not in Austin, Texas, I know Denny Mac is. It's been very cloudy, gloomy, rainy for literally the past 4 days. And it's wonderful to be cooking very comforting foods, just like a velvety risotto. I just keep calling it a velvety risotto. I don't know if it is, but it is in my world. Yeah, who else? Anyone else?
Those are the recent joiners to.
Or any other dishes? Anyone else making food?
So we've heard so far. We did get a message earlier from Sandy. We have a very special viewer, Miss Bailey Sue.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, she says that Bailey is loving your show and she's smiling away.
Oh, great. Thanks, Bailey. I hope you guys are still there. And if not, we'll be sure to give you guys a big shout out next time. But it's great that you guys are all able to be together during this time too. So big shout out to Bailey, the big warrior of that household for sure.
The warrior princess.
The warrior princess. I'm just going to kind of sweat these onions down a little bit. I love to kind of sweat out the onions, saute the onions as my first stage in the aromatics, and then I'll add my other aromatics to it. In this case, we have ginger, garlic, and a little bit of jalapeno for a little heat. Oh, don't forget that we are broiling tomatoes. Everything's fine. That's the danger, though. That's the danger when you're doing a live cooking show and you're trying to cook some onions and you're engaging with your very great audience and you forget that your tomatoes are inches away from fire. I will attempt to show you guys what I'm doing. I know that this is like I'm a little far away during that part, so I'll be sure to show you. But yeah, just some onions. One thing, I was reading about this earlier this week when we were making the sauce. I was just kind of thinking about it because you always hear that the chicken soup for the soul, or how chicken soup, there's something about it, it's so healthy and hearty and wonderful, and that is all true. But there is science to back this up, and I think that that's the really magical thing about it, especially if you're able to make a bone broth for yourself from scratch. because you're really pulling all of those nutrients out of the bones and into your body. And that's like a crazy thing to think about, but that's really what we need. And I've talked a lot about trying to cook like our ancestors have, and trying to use the techniques that like we as a species co-evolved with. And part of that is drinking bone broth. It's throughout many cultures, it's a very vital component of the diet. And so your body is going to crave stuff like this. And especially if there's a pandemic happening and you need to be able to boost your immunity, this is a great way to do it. So by all means, like, make as much bone broth as you can right now. It will freeze for months, and you can use it. You don't have to use it in a soup. You could just warm it up in the morning and drink it as tea. You could drink it in the evenings. You can wake up at 3 a.m. and drink it.
You can freeze it.
You can freeze it. You can do whatever you want. We're getting a little color on the onions. We're getting a little color on the tomatoes. We're getting colorful. I came up with a new term. This is not the vent button. This is the make your neighbors jealous button. It's too loud, but I remember, you don't experience it too much here, but I remember being like walking down streets in Europe, and you would just walk by someone's house and they would have their windows open, and it just smelled like the most wonderful dish you could ever eat. And I was like wanting to make friends with those people and go inside and eat their food. So I'm trying to make friends with the neighbors by squaring hands out there.
Me.
Carissa? Anyone else? Bob Ross is like, he would always be like, yeah, and beat the devil out of that brush. And it's like, go watch old Bob Ross videos. They're on YouTube. I think it's on Netflix. Go do that, actually. Bob Ross is the chicken soup version of media. He is so nourishing. And it's like embracing mistakes, embracing going with the flow, adapting, beating the devil out of things. What a guy. What a guy. Go check out Bob Ross, though, and you'll get that. Yeah, after this go check out Bob Ross. You'll understand that reference. Oh, hello. Okay. Great. I'm ready for my other aromatics. This is the bench scrape. Oh, here it is. Yes. Add those guys in. We're going to turn the heat down a little bit. We're getting a little too warm in there. And then add the rest. So this is, it goes 5 cloves of garlic, 5 or 4 cloves of garlic, and then some ginger and some jalapenos, whatever looks right. I'm sorry, guys, I didn't make a note of it, but it's probably about less than a tablespoon of each of those other two. Oh yeah. And I'm getting, it's best to use a non-reactive pan, a non-stick pan. I'm getting some color in the bottom of the pan, and that color is just going to translate so well for the soup, because once we actually put the broth in, that color is going to come out. It's going to be delicious. So I would recommend getting a pan like this. I don't know if you can see if we can give you guys a little peek. Need a flashlight. Smells good. It smells spicy. Okay, here we go. You can get closer. Yeah, there we go. Something like that. Just like a little color, those red onions. We're not burning anything though, and there's like an important distinction. We may be burning the tomatoes, but we're not burning what's in the pan. Well, we want those tomatoes to be singed. We want some carbonization on it. That's just it's gonna add a lot. We don't want them to like burn, but we want some darkness on it. Does that make sense?
One little char.
A little char. We want some char. Okay, that's going really well. Happy with this. I'm going to turn the heat back up because we're going to add more stuff to our pan. When you add stuff, cooking, a lot of cooking technically, I guess, unless it's chemical cooking, is all thermodynamic. And dynamics. And when you think about it, we have a hot pan, and we have hot ingredients inside of that pan. And now we're about to add a bunch of ingredients that are not hot. So to counteract that, always like raise the temperature up a little bit. I'm adding celery and carrots, and then I'm going to add these green beans. Oh yeah. And I'm going to add these, I'm going to wait to add those. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Let us know if you made some ranch water or if you are drinking something else. Type it up in the chat there.
Bailey loves it when you beat the devil out of that spoon. Love that noise.
Yeah.
So happy to have Bailey watching.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. She got the shout out.
Okay, we got a lot of fun things, dancing and jiving well with each other in there. I have Henry roaming the floor here for scraps. That's what he does. Check the tomatoes, Paul. Oh yeah. Okay. So you can see that we're definitely getting some color on these guys. I want more color. More color. So I'm gonna keep it going.
We have Kara and Lucia on.
Oh yay!
Woo!
Guys make something fun tonight. Kara and Lucia. What's up?
Go Pablo.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Lucia, and thank you, Kara. I love seeing you guys socially distant. And I'm so glad you guys were able to make it for a little bit.
Oh, and Dora is joining us with a beverage.
Ooh, what's
She's
that?
trying some watermelon wine that was a gift from.
We get to really find out about the people who are around us. We get to lean on them, and they get to lean on us. And I think that's really important because that's what this is, right? Like this is a community, you and I, and we are engaging with one another. We're talking, we're sharing, we are there for each other. And now we need to also be there for our neighbors. And if that requires a gift of watermelon wine, well, so be it. The world could use more watermelon wine given neighbors. Shout out to those guys.
And Kara and Lucia said that they had chicken sausage, asparagus, corn, rice, and tomatoes for dinner.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Sounds good.
Well, we're going to have tomatoes too. In a minute. They're almost done. So we got the soup cooking down. Thanks for sharing that, guys. I'm so happy. What was your favorite part about that dish? Because you guys listed a number of ingredients. If you could eat one more thing, would it be the chicken sausage? Would it be the corn? Would it be the asparagus? I have a little pop-up here. Hey guys, I'm a lot closer. I'm not in the light now. So there you go. Darker. Maybe at some point we'll show you guys the setup here, but it's there's a lot of lights. Hey, we're looking great. Really happy about our progress so far. Tomatoes. Tomatoes. Thoughts, everybody? Should we keep going? Or do you think that's good enough? Whoa. I'm gonna keep going.
The daredevil.
Yeah, we're living wild tonight, guys. We got a glass of ranch water, we got some homemade stock, and we're gonna go for it. Speaking of which, let's put some of that homemade bone broth straight in here. No, this is gonna take too long. Let's do this. Oh my dears. Let's just do the whole thing. Why not, right? Well, why not? Maybe because we're adding a bunch of tomatoes and chicken to this. So we'll see if that was a good decision or not. We're gonna bring this up to a boil. Great. Oh, now let's add our parsley and our celery.
Lucia says the tomatoes look great.
Okay, all right. Well, Lucia, she probably thinks that we should stop then. I don't know. Do you? Do you think, Lucia? Do you think we should stop or should we keep going?
They're looking pretty good.
They are looking pretty good. And we are, what, at 47 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Last show was, like, I think, like an hour and 15. That's like a good. That's probably all the time you guys needed me. We're looking good, though. I think, yeah. What do you got?
Dora says that it probably smells so fragrant in our home right now. Which is the missing technology piece,
I know.
as Emerald Lagasse used to say, smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision. Oh, bam! Emerald. What is Emerald doing now?
Yeah, what's Emerald doing right now?
Someone, find Emerald Lagasse. Tell him he needs to come hang out over at my house. All right. Oh, okay, all right. That's great. We could go a little bit longer, but you know what? Hey, we got a show to produce, so we're just gonna go with these. So I'm gonna throw them in the blender. Each one of these little guys. They've been kind of cooked. And we got some char. So they've been, quote, fire roasted. Now we're gonna kind of make a tomato sauce out of them. Perfect. Grab the ladle, friend, here. Let's take a little bit of this bone broth. Maybe a little bit more. We're gonna get some veggies in there too, but you know what? Maybe it'll be even better. And now we're gonna make kind of a thickening agent. Maybe not a thickening agent, but we're gonna make a kind of the tomato aspect of this soup. Be careful because these are all very hot. Anytime you're blending hot things, you don't want to fill it up too high, and you also want to make sure that you can let some of the pressure out. And start slow. So this might get loud with a blender, but fun, promise. Great. That was easy. And you know, if you don't have a Vitamix, I mean, this isn't an ad for Vitamix. I love the Vitamix. You should think about it. I mean, it's just like a nice little puree. We need to get a light. Maybe if we move this one. Live. We're live, folks. Oh, yeah, this will work. Yeah. Hi. Let me tell you a story. Okay. So there's that's the puree. I'm just gonna add this straight to the soup. Okay. Great. Perfect. Now we added the what did we add? The carrots and the celery and the green beans. We added them to kind of be sautéed, but we haven't cooked them. So they're going to actually get a lot of we're going to finish cooking them in the broth. Now the other component is that this is a chicken soup after all. And so when we made the stock, we used a whole chicken, meat and all. We saved the bones after the chicken had cooked, and we cooked the bones down for 6 hours. You don't want to cook the meat down for 6 hours. You'll have rubber at the end of it. So we only really cooked this chicken for about 45 minutes in total in a kind of rolling simmer, also known as a boil. And I took all the meat off. So it's kind of been chilling out in the fridge. And we're going to add this chicken to our soup. Thus, the fire roasted tomato chicken soup. There you go. And then that's going to be our dinner. And it's also going to be, it's a great thing to just kind of throw into the fridge, and we can dip our bread into it. The bread and soup, I mean, find a better winning combination than that besides maybe ice cream and French fries. But there's I love soup and bread together. In fact, I want to make bread rolls that I could hollow out and pour soup into. Has anyone done that? Because I would love to hear your little, if you guys have any tips, because I typically cook the bread in cast iron ovens, and so larger in size. Marissa, would you like to have that?
That sounds great.
Yeah. How are you enjoying your ranch water?
That's great. Yeah, super clean.
It is super clean. Super clean drink. All right, well, we're waiting for that to boil. Let's check in on it, shall we? Let's give it a little taste. That's one of the most important elements of cooking, is tasting as you go. Oh, it's fantastic. Got a big thing of parsley, which will cook down, but smoky tomato-ness, a little fiery tomato-ness, I should say. And that bone broth is just delicious. It's just, there's something in your body that just wants to have it. So can't wait for you guys to see this episode and hopefully get to make it at home. Hopefully you are making bone broths. Just anyways, it's a great way to really enjoy a meal. But I'm really excited about this. I'm excited to share it with you. And again, if you guys weren't here in the beginning, there's a few big announcements that we wanted to make. The first one is that every Sunday, we are going to go live on YouTube for the foreseeable future, as long as we can. And we are going to, the times may change. We may do it earlier, we may do it later, but I really like the 6 p.m. slot, so we're going to try and keep it at 6 p.m. And new episodes of Paul Likes to Cook will go live on Tuesdays and Fridays. Going to have a release schedule so that you will know when to kind of expect to see those. There's 4 episodes we have been shot. They are in the editing room, so to speak. And really excited to share all of that content with you guys. There's some really great little episodes in there. We had teased a bread episode earlier. The bread one, you might see the loaf back there with the blender. The bread one is, I love baking bread. And if you have the time to properly bake bread, it can be one of the most rewarding things to do in the kitchen, is to simply make a loaf of bread. And that's really wild because, so we get so caught up in these very intense recipes and all of these sauces and all these things that we need to do. And really, sometimes the only thing you need to make is a loaf of bread. And I encourage you guys to all try it if you can once that episode comes out. We also have a smoked chicken recipe. That one's going to take place outside on the offset smoker. There may or may not be a couple of Henry cameos in that, but that's a great recipe. Fun thing to do: smoke your chicken, save your bones, throw them in your stock. There you go. Mind-boggling, and go for that. And we also have the bread episode. We have a pasta episode that's really kind of a create your own adventure pasta episode. And what's the in the stock? Those 4 are upcoming. But the other big announcement is that next Sunday, at time to be determined. Most likely a little bit earlier than our 6 p.m. slot, but we might do it at 6 p.m. and just get wild. But I'm going to be joined by Chef Katie herself to cook eggs. It's going to be egg day. You may go to the gym and you may have leg day. Well, next weekend, we are all going to experience egg day. And the great thing about this is that Katie's going to join me on screen. So it's going to be the 2 of us. She's going to be from a remote location somewhere in Austin, Texas. And she's classically trained culinary chef. She has a catering business, also an amazing food truck, Kilawasi, that's at Independence Brewery. Once the world gets going again, that's where you can get her amazing Peruvian Texas fusion cuisine. And she's just a fabulous source of knowledge, all things food, and a dear friend of ours. And so I'm very excited to have her on next week, where we are going to take you through the 5 best ways to cook an egg. Some of them might be multiple eggs, but the 5 best way to cook eggs. And hopefully you're able to get some eggs and really enjoy that experience. Tune in next Sunday, where we are all going to learn a whole lot, because Katie has a lot of knowledge to drop on us. We're going to experiment. We're going to have some fun. There may or may not be some ranch water involved, but I hope you're able to come join us next Sunday. Check the Paul Likes to Cook Facebook page for updates. We'll kind of like send you updates throughout the week to kind of let you know. But that's it's a really fun concept to bring other people into this mix, and I really am looking forward to that one. As well as there may or may not be some other fun collaborations happening in the future. So stay tuned. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll be notified, and you hit the notification icon. You'll be notified when we go live, when new videos drop, and it really helps me out, helps this channel out. So I really appreciate you when you do that, and if you could do that. And like the Facebook page, there's a Twitter account now. It's crazy. We're trying to move really quickly here, just to kind of keep the ball rolling, if you will. So, yeah. How are you doing over there, Carissa? Moderator in chief.
Great. Yeah, Lucia says, "Go Pablo, go!"
That's great. Thanks, Lucia. Thanks so much for all of your support too.
Yeah, they have to drop off for bedtime, but they said it was a treat.
Oh, great. That time, man. That time's real. You gotta keep the schedules in place, even if you're in self-isolation and quarantine. And and that goes for the adults too, not just the little ones. How are you guys adapting? Like I've found it challenging. I found exercise to be a little challenging in the quarantine. I normally try to run a bunch during the week, and I normally run on these trails, but some people are very polite when it comes to the social distancing, like everyone's running 6 feet apart from everyone else. But some people are just, owning the trail. And, it kind of makes me not want to go running on a trail. So I'm needing to adapt, needing to find my schedule. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of announce and kind of hold this whole experience accountable for you guys, because you guys have been so supportive of me, and I'm so grateful for it. But the ability to kind of hold this to okay, hey, we're going to go live every Sunday. We're going to release videos every Tuesday and every Friday, and we are going to, I'm going to do my part in order to kind of make sure that we see this experiment through, just to kind of see where we can go together. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Thanks so much for watching and supporting. It means so much to me. And yeah, it's like it's a crazy time that we're living in, and you never really know kind of where we're going to go and what we're going to do and what tomorrow brings and what we're going to have good days or bad days or good times and bad times. There's so much uncertainty right now, and so carving out little moments of the day for yourself, carving out little moments of the day where you can find something to comfort you, something to uplift you. It's really important. And food is an avenue for that. Food is an avenue for healing. Food is an avenue for expression. Food is an avenue for learning and self-discovery, and it's an act of love for your community. So if you happen to be fortunate enough to be in quarantine with someone, perhaps it's someone you love, perhaps it's someone you care for, hopefully you can share that gift with them. And if you guys ever have any questions, or if you ever need any help with anything, please reach out. I'm here. I'm here to, troubleshoot. I don't have all the answers, but I'm definitely here to try and help. And if not, we can find the resources available to answer any question, because this is an age of great discovery and exploration. So I encourage you all to really try new things, find your path, and find something consistent in this era of inconsistencies. We are having to let go of the people we were a month ago. We're having to let go of the plans that we had for the spring and the summer and maybe now the fall. We're having to let go of these things and embrace a new way of being. So gonna get off my philosophical stoop for a moment. We'll get back to cooking, but I just I really think this is an important time for all of us. And if we can cook together, laugh together, help each other together, that's the time. Now's the time to do it. So go get them, Tigers. I believe in you. All right. Let's see. How are we doing over there?
Me?
Yeah. How are you doing over there?
I'm doing great. We had a few messages from Miss Carol, Miss Aunt Carol.
Well, great.
Yeah, she has messaged us a photo of some grilled chicken and zucchini that she made today.
Oh, perfect.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, that's great.
That's great. And she said that she's tried the bread bowls, but hasn't been back with them yet.
Okay, all right.
So we might need to do a few test runs too.
Yeah. And that's the beauty in this whole experience, right? It's just to try out new things and to see how it goes, and then you iterate on top of that. Sometimes maybe it works really well, and then sometimes it fails miserably. But sometimes we need to have that failure in order to realize how we can make it better. And I think the bread is really interesting because we don't have, unless you do. Does anyone out there have an industrial bread oven? But most bread ovens on an industrial scale are steam injected. So they have steam coming in. Steam is what is going to create that crust. That is what's going to create this. And I was able to achieve that by baking the bread essentially in a very small oven. So a Dutch oven, like an oven within an oven, like something this size. And that's like a little home hack for all you bread makers out there. But how do you do it with multiple rolls? And some people will put ice cubes in a tray in the bottom of the oven, or just a water pan, and then the heat of the oven is going to evaporate that water, and it's going to create steam, and then you're going to be able to get your crust. That's another home hack. But does that work really well with a bunch of really small bread loaves? I don't know. I want to try it. Maybe we could do that one Sunday cooking show. Always forget the name, and I created the name. What are we gonna do? But that might be a fun thing to do too, because we do have I don't know if you saw in the oven, but there is Carissa got me this large pizza stone, which is amazing for baking pizzas, number one, but also anything really, because it's just this nice little kind of plane that helps keep the whole temperature in the oven consistent. So if you do get a chance to get like a big pizza stone in your oven, it will really improve your baking outside of just making pizzas on it, but everything. Like those roasted vegetables keeps them from like really charring a whole bunch on the bottom if they're sitting on top of that pizza stone. So something to think about. Yeah. Do you have any questions, Carissa? You're sitting over there.
I do. I'm curious, what other ideas you have for the bone broth? You talked about sipping it. What other soups do you make with it?
Like one of my favorite all-time soups of all time is the is Vietnamese pho, and that is essentially a bone broth. It's beef. It's traditionally beef, but there's also it can also be made from chicken too, and that's so it's essentially the same process as we're doing it. You're just boiling bones all day, but there they infuse it with star anise and cloves, and it kind of gives it that subtle spice blend to it, and that's fantastic. And it's I mean, if you're ever sick, pho is one of the best. Has always been one of the best. My body will crave that, and so I mean that is a soup, but that's something that I would do. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think you could basically. Denny Mac earlier was on here, and she was talking about making risotto, and risotto with shrimp and asparagus and something else. Black-eyed peas. Yeah, that's the wild part. That's great. I would love to hear how that went. But you traditionally, I think you're using a stock in risotto, or is it like in Venice, or like there's this town outside of Venice, and that's like where risotto comes from. Anyways, the real traditional way is like very, very simple. So it's like a rice dish, and then you add stuff to it. But like the way that you're cooking it is like is how it's getting all the flavor. And you could use a really high mineral content bone broth into something like that. You could use it. You could make ice cubes out of it and put it in your iced tea. I'm joking. I wouldn't do that, but maybe, I don't know, maybe you should. But you could have those ice cubes ready, and you could just plop them in, and so it's kind of like instant. It's not bouillon where it's like concentrate, but it's like an instant stock that you could just take out of your freezer and like pop into different aspects or utility. I mean, I think that's a great question for all you guys who are still sticking around. It's like, how else would you use bone broth outside of the ways that we've been talking about it today? Because I mean, we're using a very easy way, a very common way of using bone broth, using it as a stock for our soup tonight, but lots of other ways to use it, for sure. But great for your health. I mean, I was like, I don't know, like a year ago, less than a year ago, got pretty sick, and you like got me a bunch of bone broth. That was awesome. It's great when you're sick, and I mean, I really hope that like nobody. Well, coronavirus ends tomorrow, but it doesn't, and you are sick, and you find yourself really needing something. This is a great thing to eat because it's just full of so much great content for your body. And like the ginger and the garlic are both antivirals. There's so much anti-inflammatories as well in there, and not to mention just like the comfort factor of having chicken stock is fantastic. So, comfort foods for me: pizza, chicken soup. I love like Mediterranean food. Like there's this great place that's like in Austin that we go to a lot called like Halal Corner. And they have this dish. If you're in Austin, you need some like. I think the owner is Egyptian, but it's just kind of like a run-of-the-mill kind of Mediterranean restaurants. But they like really make their falafel from scratch. They do a great job. Anyways, not a commercial for Halal Corner, but their P1, that is such comfort food. There's something about that spice blend that like, I don't know, it's kind of like, man, are we all just like children of the world, you know? Like, because it's not like grits for me. It's like this halal corner dish, from Egypt. So, I mean, comfort food can be anything. Pho is a comfort food. From Vietnamese pho can be comfort food. So, yeah, it's nice to like take solace in from other cultures as well, because like we're all one, right? And I think that's another, stepping back onto a philosophical soapbox. That's another thing about this whole pandemic, is that we are all one. We're all having to deal with this equally, except for our dogs. They don't deserve it. Thank God. Okay. Any other questions before we move on with the soup?
Henry wants to know if he's going to get some.
Henry, I don't know.
Henry got some chicken last night.
We did get some chicken last night. It was some of the chicken from the smoked chicken episode that will come out later, and he loved it. And we typically don't try and feed him people food, so it's like kind of a once in a blue moon for this guy, so he may not get me. But he has been chasing squirrels nonstop today. The guy maybe deserves it because he's worked so hard. He's working harder than any of us. Okay. I think our soup is done. Now, soup is like the alchemy of soup, is that the longer you kind of let it meld together, the better it's going to be. Soup is always better the next day. If you ever go to a restaurant, they most likely made that soup the previous day or the day before, and then you just keep it in the fridge for like up to 5 days. But that's if you can, like, make a soup, have a little bit of it, and be like, wow, that's nice. And then the next day be like, oh my God, this is amazing. And that's the really beautiful thing about cooking with this stock, is that it kind of congeals a little bit too, because we've pulled all that collagen and mineral content out of those bones. And so it's going to actually set more later and eat it all up, eat all of those aspects. So I'm going to add, now that our soup is just proclaiming it to be done, so now that our soup is proclaimed done, I'm going to add the chicken. There's plenty of chicken flavor in that, so I don't want to throw my chicken in prematurely, and because we're not going to extract any flavor. Chicken, as you guys may know, is a pretty bland meat as it is. So I do want to add it though now, warm it up, and then it'll be ready in about like 3 to 5 minutes. And might not use all of it this time, but that's it. That's kind of a nice little thing to do whenever you're making chicken soup. Take all the meat off the bones, cook the bones, cook the soup with that bone broth, and then add your meat back to it. Looks amazing, right? I should cut that piece up. Well, I have someone just got excited.
Henry's coming.
Okay. A couple of pieces here. I'm just gonna chop up a little bit. So crazy that we can connect this way. I mean, I'm still mind blown by technology sometimes. Okay. We added it all. I mean, it's amazing, right? I mean, this is essentially the product of a whole chicken, and it's all the aspects of that whole chicken. It's a product of, what was it, 6 or 7 tomatoes, 4 carrots, 4 celery stalks, garlic, ginger, jalapeno, parsley, and then all the stuff that was in the stock too. So there's a ton of nutrients in this soup. Okay. I'm gonna show it to you guys.
Go.
Where's my other? Put it up. Well, we'll use these. On brand. Well, Henry. Thank you, Kelly Greenheart, for making these for us. Okay. So let's see. Can you guys see this? This is our soup. It basically took 10 hours to make this. But you know, like there's the slow food movement. There's an ice maker movement. I don't know if you heard that. But there's a slow food movement, and I think there's a lot of truth to be found in the slow food. Sometimes we want things right away. We want to have a meat immediately. And that's not always the best thing to do. Sometimes you need to just like slow it down. Let everything chill. Let everything congeal. Let everything like marinate itself within the soup. And then we'll have something way better than you thought you were gonna have. So that's are there any last questions or comments while you guys are ruminating on that? Just to recap real quick, we're gonna let this soup kind of sit out for a little bit, and then it's dinner time. But we've kind of completed our task of cooking this soup, and I'm sure we're going to enjoy it. But the big announcements from this show this week are that number one, we have a schedule. The schedule is Sundays we go live. We're going to do a live cooking show. We made fire roasted chicken soup. Can you believe that? We just did that. We made this giant thing of soup. I kind of got lost in the production of talking with everybody. It was like, oh yeah, we made soup. That's great. We get to eat something. That's wonderful. So we have soup, but that's not the important part. The important part is that we're going to go live every Sunday, and on Tuesdays and Fridays, new videos will drop on the Paul Likes to Cook YouTube channel. I will also promote it through Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, forthcoming. Next big update is that Henry's doing great. But beyond that, Chef Katie is going to be joining us next Sunday for a special live episode, Egg Day. Not leg day. It's egg day. Bum, bum, bum. We're going to come up with theme music, graphics. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to show you the 5 best ways to cook eggs or an egg. And she's going to be joining me live. We're not going to be in the same kitchen, socially distanced. It's going to be fantastic. She's a great person just to be around, and I'm excited to see this like dueling liveness. We'll be a dueling piano bar, only cooking eggs for you. And they'll be way more educational than a dueling piano bar. Then we're also, I think that's it, right? Those are the big announcements. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then more episodes are coming. We're working hard for you guys. Tuesdays and Fridays are the new episodes. Thank you guys so much for supporting this channel. I'm going to get a bowl ready. If you have any questions, let Carissa know. Looks like we got one.
Yes, Dora wants to know if you will be posting your recipe.
For this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Maybe we can add it as a comment on the video here.
Yes, we will add it as a comment for the video, or it'll be in the description of this video. If you guys see this at a later date, we will definitely have it for you. We're keeping all the recipes, but this video will also live on for eternity, or as long as YouTube servers last. But it'll be there. So if you guys ever, if you are watching this in the future, look for that recipe. Feel free to reach out with any other questions or concerns too. We can always address that at a later date as well. But yeah, this recipe will be in the description.
Yeah, and let us know if you have any requests. This was a highly requested recipe for this bone broth.
Yes.
So we'll make it happen if we can.
Bone broth, and then it's like, what are you going to do with your bone broth? Well, let's make a soup out of it, right?
Yeah.
So steamy. It's so humid here, and I think that's going to play a role. I mean, the atmospheric conditions are ripe for steam, am I right? But here you guys go. This is there we go. I don't want to spill it, but that's the finished product. You can see some of the carrots in there and the green beans. We've got these big chunks of chicken and the broth. So again, thank you guys so much for joining me. I mean, this has been a whirlwind of a month for everyone on this planet, myself included in that. And I'm just so thrilled, and I'm so excited to be able to be sharing all of this stuff with you guys. And I'm so thankful for all of your support, all of the likes and the shares, and getting your neighbors to watch these videos. That means the world to me. So thank you guys so much. And I'm really looking forward to sharing more of this content with you guys, for you guys, and for all you future viewers as well. So from our kitchen, and I promised to Henry Cameo, I'm gonna grab him. So hold on. So from our kitchen, are you doing okay? I'll put you down. Okay, you're okay. All right. So from our kitchen, and with a big heart, thank you guys so much for joining. Thanks for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Remember that I'm always here as a resource in case you guys ever have any questions or concerns. But stay safe. Keep your social distance from everybody. Enjoy the week. And we'll see you next Sunday for Egg Day. So take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining. Just gonna end the stream awkwardly over here now.
Thanks, Dora.
Bye.